But the younger vote, or youth vote, is often ignored or overlooked by candidates. Here's One America's Jessamine Dodd.
The youth vote is an important part of the election process, as is onboarding these younger voters to support their candidate and learn about issues directly affecting them. Well, Brilyn Hollyhand has interviewed such notable names as Donald Trump, Trump Jr., Ted Cruz, and more. He was named by LA Weekly as one of the 10 visionaries to look out for in 2023 and was awarded the John Lewis National Youth Leadership Award at just 16 years old. Well, here with me now is Brilyn Hollyhand, editor-in-chief of the Truth Gazette and co-chair of the RNC Youth Advisory Council. Brilyn, great to see you.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this is going to be your first time voting for a president in 2024, and you have been warning candidates not to ignore the Gen Z vote. So tell us why you think the youth demographic is more socially conscious and more aware about community issues. Are they more likely to participate in political advocacy groups?
Yeah, absolutely. I started this real big push campaign to try to get a focus on my generation about 6 months ago, right after the midterms last year. Look, the Republican Party is an endangered species at risk of extinction. If it does not start involving my generation, oh my gosh, I got lit up on Twitter. They freaked out. They said I was fear-mongering, but I wasn't fear-mongering. I was telling the truth. That is the truth. The Republican Party is an endangered species at risk of extinction. If we don't start involving my generation going into 2024, I think the countdown's like 499 days now. So that's our focus. That's what we're looking at as we go into Election Day 2024.
All right. Well, we saw Joe Biden, create this TikTok newsroom in order to connect with younger voters. And it turns out that their administration is paying influencers to make videos trying to sway younger voters to vote for their candidates. In fact, 2/3 of American teens consume content on TikTok, and the right video can reach millions. So do you think that joining platforms like this is a gamble that Republican lawmakers should take?
Well, look, I'll address this paying scheme here that the Biden administration, the DNC, is doing. I am not taking 1 cent from the RNC. CJ Pearson nor I are being paid whatsoever for our position here as the co-chairs of this council. We're strictly doing this as a volunteer position because we want the party to win. I'm a winner. I would like to see the party win. Our country needs this big win in 2024. My generation needs this win. This election in 2024 shapes the future that I grow up in. It shapes the future that I grow a family in. So this is personal to me. The stakes could not be higher. So I'm strictly, doing this as a volunteer position. We're not getting, big checks from the Republican Party whatsoever. But it is, a good thing. The DNC using these influencers, they're waking up and realizing too that our generation is important. So the RNC has to counter that, and we have to do that, and we are doing it. Obviously, there's a lot of security concerns with TikTok. We need to be fighting the CCP on every front, and that includes if they're doing digital warfare here on our homeland. That needs to be something that Washington's addressing. But if we just boycott the platform, if us as Republicans just boycott the platform and don't actually, look into try to get the CCP influence out of it, if we just boycott it, then the For You page on TikTok for my generation will just be filled with DNC content. There will be no counter point of view. A few weeks ago, I put out this video, countering these DNC paid TikTokers. I think they're getting like $15,000 or something. And I just put out like a quick 30-second video. It went viral. It hit over 2 million views. That's what we have to have. Because if it's just that video, nobody would have known that every fact that these DNC paid TikTokers put out in this video was a perpetual lie. They wouldn't have known that. So we have to be there to counteract that and actually push forward with our own content and get our talking points out there for the voters going into 2024. And one of these things is making sure, especially going into our first debate, August 23rd in Milwaukee, that we are really making sure that influencers that have an audience with our generation, not just Republicans strictly, but just have an audience with our generation, will be at that debate. And we're really putting an emphasis on that and making sure that we get people like that. I'll share another idea with you that the left's not doing that we're starting doing first. This first debate in August that the RNC is putting on, this first primary debate, it will be broadcasted on the Fox News channel, but it will also be simultaneously streamed on Rumble. That's an idea that CJ and I pitched in this first sit-down meeting with Republican Party chairwoman.
And before you go, can you let us know, as a young Republican, what are some other ways that you're enhancing your political messaging?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing, and like we've talked about most of this time, is making sure that we have a digital footprint, making sure that the Republican Party is really connecting with youth voters where they are, and that's online. If I could, just allow a moment to get a message out to my generation here, it's to get involved, start paying attention. You don't have to be, as on TV talking about politics like I am, but at least just read the news in the morning. Look at what's going on. Get ready to vote in 2024 because we'll all be voting together. Make sure you and your friends are registered to vote. Go carpool to go vote on November in 2024. So make sure you're ready. I think a big thing right now is my generation's waking up. And we're seeing the disastrous, deadly policies that we've had for 4 years in the Biden-Harris administration. And we're going to paint a parallel between that and the 4 previous years of a Republican presidency and hope that voters remember how good those 4 years were and they'll vote that back in office in November of 2024.
All right. Can you tell our viewers where they can learn more about your initiatives and what you are doing?
Absolutely. So you can follow me all across social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. It's at Brilyn Hollyhand. You can also go to my website, thetruthgazette.com, to read more articles like I mentioned that I came out in January, or all of my interviews that you talked about at the top. It's all thetruthgazette.com, and my social media is at Brilyn Hollyhand.
Once again, Brilyn Hollyhand, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
For all our viewers asking where One America